So, good afternoon, welcome back. Or as we say in Yorkshire, hey up, oyster. It's time for the part 2 of the knives and other tools. And in the last video on the series, we did my knives and the knives that we use and that have been passed around the family. Now we're going to look at other tools that I use. So, first off, without any surprise, the Barco Laplander. Excellent saw. This one's not been used yet at all. Not had a chance to use it whatsoever because I've replaced an old one with it that I managed to lose on a canoe trip. It went over the side. Lesson learned. Before this, or before the other Laplander, I had a garden line which cost me the glorious sum of £3 from a shop chain called Aldi. And it was an awesome piece of equipment. Really, really, really good. But yeah. So currently using one of these as my little backpack go-to saw. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Comes in handy inside the lavabo for processing wood for fires inside the stove and things like that. Okay, so for dealing with larger pieces of wood, and I really am going to struggle to get this into frame, I've got a folding bow saw, made for me by a very, very good friend. This is just the case for it, and this has been made out of an old gas cape, the 1940s, 1950s gas cape. Inside here there's space for the blade, and the blade sits inside a little pocket inside there, and I have two blades, one for dry wood, one for wet wood. And that was handmade, a couple of strips of leather just to fold the top over, and then it ties round like so. The saw itself comes in several parts. That's the top part. There are two sides linked together with paracord, very much like all the other ones you've seen. That goes on there. Oops. Sorry about this. That goes on there. And the blade goes in between. And it's just tightened up with a couple of wing nuts. So, like I say, I can't get it all in the picture, but I'm sure you get the idea. It's the traditional wooden folding bow saw. Made for me, like I said, by a very good friend who I haven't seen in a long time, and I think I need to rectify that soon. What I really should do is do a video with all these things being used so you can see them out and about, and I will get round to doing that. As I've just said though, on a message on the page, I'm just really super busy with work, and I'm doing this as and when I can fit in 15 or 20 minutes here and there. Sometimes when I'm away from home, I obviously get some strange looks while I'm filming things in my hotel rooms as well, but hey, there you go, needs must. Moving on to the next piece of wood processing equipment, the ubiquitous Grants Brooks small forest axe. Okay, and this is my first small forest axe. I actually used a cheap Silverline hatchet before that, which I still have, incidentally, but I tend to use that for just chopping down or cutting down kindling and logs inside the lavabo, because the short handle makes it easy to move about in the lavabo. However, the small forest axe is a good all-round axe. I do have one slightly bigger than this, and obviously won't fit in the frame. And I've got the Hultafors classic hunting axe, which has got an 800-gram head and much heavier. And as you can see, just under this, just under the overstrike collar, it says Ramir's Bushcraft. So this is one of the Ramir's versions, which I bought from a friend at a very reasonable price. Onto the overstrike collar. I actually manufactured this recently. I made this myself out of, I think it's 4 or 5 mil leather, a little bit of leather lace. The person I have to thank for this, or getting the idea for this, and following the pattern, if you like, is Mike from MCQ Bushcraft. So Mike, a shout out to you for that. Thank you very much for giving me the idea and putting the pattern up and allowing me, you know, so I could follow it. And you were right about this bit here, very much so. You do have to cut away there to make sure that the mask fits back on. So yeah, thanks for that, Mike. So other tools that I might use. Bring on the British Army issue L85 cleaning kit roll. And I hear you saying, why has he got an L85 cleaning kit roll? Has he got an L85? No, but what I did find is it made an excellent pouch for carrying a few bits and bobs, namely my carving kit. Okay, so inside my carving kit, when I can get it out, is a Victorinox knife. I just use this one. This is basically a carving knife for fine detail work. Also, it's got a little auger on it and a few odd tools. And it's just a great multi-purpose little knife. Classically, I have a Mora Crook knife. One of the downsides to this pouch, and I'm going to have to rectify this, so if anybody has any ideas about what I can do, is try and make a sheath for the end of it so it slides in and out of this pocket a lot easier. So yeah, I've got a crook knife for making cooksker and spoons, etc. And then I've just got a couple of random carving style knives just used for doing fine work. That one's just an ordinary blade, this one has a chisel point. I have various thicknesses or grits of emery paper and emery cloth. Use that for all sorts of different things, but it comes in very handy for sharpening knives. I have a sailmaker's needle. It's just part of my kit that I carry around. It's useful for making holes and also making repairs. I also have a file, and that's for using on my axe and yeah, other things. Once again, it can be used for woodwork, but it can be used for metal as well. It's mainly for metal though. And then a couple of sharpening implements. However, word to the wise, bought these off eBay thinking they were pretty cool. One's fine, one's medium. What I have found out over time is you get what you pay for. I've now gone on to a DC4, which usually lives in my belt pouch, which goes with my knife sheath. So yeah, there you are. That's basically what I did. Took an SA80 L85 tool roll and then turned that into my carving kit roll. So continuing with the idea of other tools, I have a small pouch, and inside that small pouch is another small pouch, and inside that other small pouch is my housewife. So yeah, that's my sewing kit. Always good to have a sewing kit. Inside there I've got a little bit of elastic, some spare paracord, the odd spare toggle, some buttons in there if you can see. Okay, I've got various needles that are attached to the top, and inside the bottom I've got little spools of cotton, and these are the spools that you have on sewing machines. So rather than having them on a card, I've got these spools of thread. I've also got some darning thread in there, an empty spool just in case I need one. I have a couple of metal spools as well. These are mainly plastic, because the plastic ones break, as you can see. And on this one, I've got some leather thread, nice strong leather thread. I suppose if it was easier to get in the UK, I could just have one big reel of tarred bank line, but I find it really difficult to source in the UK. And when I've tried different locations, it's always been out of stock. So I get spare bits of fish fastenings and things like that. This is sort of part of my general purpose repair kit. I have squares of nylon, and seam sealer for tents and tarps and etc. So yeah, so I think a sewing kit is an essential tool. It's one of those tools. I know we can get thread in the outdoors, but that takes time to process. So yeah, carry it with you, I think. Another tool that I have, this I won in a competition. It's probably one of the few things I've ever won. Is a little hobo hand fishing reel. I've actually used it as well. Although technically hand fishing in the UK, or handline fishing in the UK in rivers and lakes is against the law. But in a survival situation, I've got it here. Various hooks. Inside here under the cork plug, there's a magnet, if you can see. I'm going to try and zoom it in. Yeah, there we go. So there's a magnet there, and inside you can put hooks and things like that. The only thing I need to add to this, because they seem to be missing, is some weights and some kind of float. But otherwise, there it is. Now then, when I got this, when I won this, I was inspired to make my own. I thought, oh yeah, let's have a go. And let me show you what I came up with. So here it is. It sits in this pencil case. And inside we have my interpretation of a hand fishing line. Now technically to me that's a rod, but hey, there you go. All this is an umbrella handle that I've sanded down, and you can see, and I cut off. You can see what used to be the umbrella, yeah, the centre of the umbrella where the cloth goes on, and then on the end I put a fishing reel and then one line around it. Yeah, so fishing reel, bolt, line around it, a little bit of rubber in the tube to keep the line in place, and in the end it's hollow. So made a cork to plug over the end, and inside I can keep hooks and things, and weights, etc., and floats. So yeah, I made that one myself. I'm actually quite proud of this. I thought it was quite ingenious. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now then, the other thing I carry is tools and consider as tools. Some people might not. Certainly in certain areas of where I live, I consider these to be essential tools to get around safely. And they are, number one, maps. And not only maps, but having an ability to use them. The local rescue teams that cover these areas, their statistics are testament to the people that get it wrong. And I usually use two sizes, obviously 1 to 50 and the 1 to 25,000. So yeah, maps. Maps are an essential tool for going off the beaten track, certainly on the moors around where I live in the Northern Peak District. Going with a map, and going hand in hand with a map, there has to be the compass. And I just picked up the wrong one then, sorry. The compass. This is a silver type 4 on type 54. It's the compass I used all my outdoor life, with the exception of prismatic compasses for certain things. But yeah, the silver type 4, through my D.V. bronze, through D.V., through all the other outdoor pursuits I've done, and through my time in search and rescue. Yeah, the only non-standard addition to this is what you'll find at this end. And this is a knitting stitch counter. I don't know if you can see that, if we can zoom it in. It's a knitting stitch counter. And I use that for pacing. Yeah, so for every 100 meters I walk, I will, when I find 0, I will turn this side. For every 100 meters I walk, I will turn it 1 click. Until I get to 0, and then I'll add 1 on there, so that's a kilometre. And it's an excellent tool, or excellent reminder for how how far you've gone and doing pacings and things. Obviously, I still know how many pacings I do to 100 metres, even though that's probably changed as I've got older, but I've kept on top of that using a measured distance. I know how many paces it takes me to go uphill, downhill, and on a flat level and rough terrain. And in association with the map and the compass, a watch. Usually a waterproof watch. I don't usually wear this one. This is actually a dress watch for me. But at the end of the day, the timings let you know how far you've gone, or can help you know how far you've gone, especially if you know how long it takes you to walk roughly 1 kilometre or 1 mile, or whatever that unit is. As long as you know, it's a good navigational aid. And before anybody says anything, yes, I know it's a metal watch and I know it's a magnetic compass. I usually actually wear a plastic watch. Continuing the theme of tools that are useful for the outdoors, you usually find me with 3 other things as well, depending on what I'm doing. Number 1, I'll usually have the field guide, especially if I'm foraging. You can't or cannot overemphasize how important good field guides are, and taking an expert with you. If you're new to fungi foraging and things like that, make sure you've got somebody that knows exactly what they're doing. Too many people get hurt or even die from picking the wrong kind of fungi. Yeah, go on a course, get taught, get some knowledge. I also carry a notebook and a writing implement, and that comes in for a myriad of different things. Usually I'll carry a pencil, mainly because a pencil will write when it's wet. That's all for now, folks. So until next time, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and enjoy your adventures. Ferret out.